Hello and welcome. Today we'll see how to create a setup on Amazon Cloud, and the purpose is to show you how easy it is. The interface, the dashboard can be a little overwhelming, but I'll show you the basic steps. So first step, create a free account, and I want to start from scratch. So I'm a new user and I will use my email account that has not been used before. So my name is this. I type my email ID again and I choose a reasonable password. So the free service is good enough, but Amazon still wants your credit card. So here I will enter my credit card number to move forward. So I put my credit card number and now it wants to verify my phone number. So I'm waiting for the call. Here it is. Good. So it verified my account and I will go for the basic service. And now I will sign in to the console with my newly minted account. So at this time, you're looking at this dashboard and this can be overwhelming. And I think this is where people get overwhelmed and leave. So my purpose is to show you that if you just follow simple steps, how you can manage it nicely without having any technical knowledge. All right, so here you go to This is the profile, identity and access management. So you create one role. So create new role, and I will name it part of my email address. And here I can give it accesses. So you get a huge number of accesses here. So I want to give this access to S3 and give full access to S3. And let me see what kind of access it has for RDS. So it has full access for RDS. RDS is the database. RDS is the database. So I gave it access to S3 and the database, and you will see how this role helps us later. So this is the details of the two access, and I create this role, R Verma HQSFT. Now I go back to the dashboard, and I'm back to this intimidating dashboard. At this time, I will create a database, a MySQL database. So I come here and I click on RDS. I'll create MySQL database. I choose this. And it's asking for general options for MySQL. So just go on following what I choose. So take a real small one. And I choose one instance name. And password. So it's creating an instance, and it will show up here. So you can see it is creating at this time. Now I'll go back to the dashboard and create a S3 bucket, which is for storage and content delivery. So I choose this, and this name has to be unique within Amazon. It's almost like having a website address. So it created, and for testing I will enable website hosting, and I'll put a file, index document, HTML. All right. So at this time, we created a database and we created an S3 bucket. Now I will create an EC2 server. So I launch an instance. I have all these options. So I will choose Red Hat free tier, general purpose. So at this time, don't click on review and launch. Click on configure instance detail. And the reason I'm doing it because I want to assign the role that I had created earlier in the first step. You can go back in this video and look at the IAM role I had created in the beginning. Then look at this. So there is no preference, and for network I'm choosing the default. So I go to next step. It has got 10 gigabytes of size root access disk. That should be fine. I will this time request Amazon to create this service. Here is asking you to create a new key pair. So you can create an existing pair or create a new pair. Because this is the first time I logged in into this account, I will create a new pair and give it the same name, or Verma HQSFT, and I will download it here, and you can see that it created a PEM file, and it is in here in my downloads folder. So with this, I give it request to launch, and it is creating. It takes a few minutes. So while this is cooking, we go to the dashboard, look at the database, and see. So this database is still creating. Go back. And creating. Now, meanwhile, while all that is happening, I'll show you how to use PuTTY to be able to access this server. So you go to PuTTY, and over here I want you to download this installer, the whole thing. You could install just putty.exe, but that will not work because you have to be able to handle this security key. So I got this putty here. All right. So here I will access PuTTY gen, PuTTY gen, and you use it to create key for PuTTY. So I'll go to my downloads folder and search for all files, and this is the PEM file that I got from AWS when I was creating the file, the instance. So it will open, and at this time it will convert into a format that PuTTY can understand, and I can save the private key, and I call it the same name, PPK. And at this time I can exit. So when I go to my downloads folder, you see this key. This is the key we will use to access our EC2 server. So coming back to the instances, you see that is running, but the status is initializing. Now let's go back and look at the database. So it has made some progress. Now the status is modifying. So let's see what's happening on the instance. So we go here and we see that the instance is here. It's running and you can see all the details. So you see this IP address here. So now I copy this IP address. I launch PuTTY. Oh, I wanted PuTTY, the interface is here. So this is the IP address and I call it AWS demo and I save this. And here is the tricky part with the cloud. So click on SSH, open it, click on auth, and I really want you to pay attention here. So you click on auth and you go and choose that key that we generated from the PEM file that I got from Amazon. So I open it. So if you get this message, that means it worked. So it's telling you that this is the key is getting and do you trust it? So you give yes. And so the default user is EC2-user. You click here and at this time you are in. So far what we have done, we have successfully created an instance, took the key, converted that for PuTTY, and we were able to import it. I have difficulty seeing this, the font, so let me see if I can make it little better. So see, change settings, terminal, appearance. So I want to make the font bigger. All right, and font bigger. So this should help. Let's look at what is in the color. So default foreground, let's make it light, and default background, let's make it, okay, we'll do other way around, light background and dark foreground. I find it easier to see. All right, so now we have logged in, and if you pass this command, you will gain root access. So by doing this sudo su minus. So to be able to access the S3 bucket, the S3 bucket that we created here, we need to install called AWS command line bundle. So I go to download AWS command line has got nice instructions on how to do it. Line tools. So I go here and I'm on Linux. So this will work for me. So I copy this and I paste this command here. I find it here, unzip, not there, and install, unzip, asking for my permission. So now it will unzip. Okay, and then this command will install the client. So I can check that it was installed successfully by doing this. So now I will issue the command to check access to my S3 bucket. So this is a simple command to look at my S3 bucket. So it came back with nothing. So this command, this is the command tool, this is the S3 protocol, this is the directory, and this is the address. So I have this file. I will place this file on the S3 bucket. So the command is AWS S3 CP S3. Oh, I missed one. And I am putting it over here. So it says that it uploaded the file onto the S3 bucket like this. So now if I go back and run this command again, you see that this file is there on the S3 bucket. So you must be wondering that how come it allowed me to access this? That happened because if you remember in the beginning, we had created this role. This role R1 HQSFT, and when we created this instance, we gave this role full access to this instance. That's why we were able to access this S3 bucket without any problem. Now let's go back to our SQL server, MySQL, and see what state it is in. So it is still working. Let's look at the details of this instance. So these are the details, and the address is this. You see the whole address. So now we will try to access this from our EC2 server. So over here on the instance, when you look at the details, you see this. This is the address of our MySQL instance. So I'll copy this, go to the prompt and try to access it like this. Oops, we don't have MySQL client. Not a problem. You issue this command. So we have MySQL here. So we are looking at this database, and these are the details. So let's look at the details, and let's copy this, and I go here and type this, and I'm able to log into MySQL. So there was one step that I had done, and let me go back. This is security group. Okay, over here, and looking at the identity and access management is very important. So I have one role, and this is the role that allowed me to access the database seamlessly over here. So this is in a nutshell. Thanks a lot. I hope you found it useful, and here is my email address if you have any question for me. Thank you.